It was a bitter cold night in March of 1922. The wind howled through the dense woods surrounding the Hinterkaifeck farm, located in the isolated Bavarian countryside. The farmhouse, nestled far from the nearest town, sat in eerie silence. The only sounds were the occasional creaks of the old structure and the distant hoot of an owl. Inside, the Gruber family, Andreas, his wife, Cecilia, their daughter Victoria, and her 2 children, huddled in the warmth of their cozy living room. The house seemed like any other rural family home, with a humble heart and a worn but sturdy table. But a strange sense of unease hung in the air that night. The family had been hearing strange noises from the attic and seeing shadows near the barn, but they had no idea that this would be their final night alive. As the clock ticked past midnight, a single figure moved stealthily through the darkness, making his way from the woods towards the farmhouse. His face was obscured by a scarf, but his eyes burned with a cold, unsettling determination. The wind carried his footsteps as he approached the barn. The next morning, the nearby town of Kaifen had already begun its usual daily rhythms, unaware of the horror unfolding at the Hinterkaifeck farm. The farmhouse, where the Grubers had lived for decades, remained eerily still. No one had seen or heard from the family that morning. The tension in the air was palpable as the townspeople noticed the Grubers' absence. A few neighbors decided to visit the farm, growing concerned about the unusual quiet. They were met with an unsettling silence. The door to the farmhouse was ajar. A light dusting of snow settled on the doorstep. Something was wrong. The townspeople approached the house slowly, apprehensive. Inside, they found a scene so brutal it would haunt the community forever. Andreas Gruber was the first to be discovered. His body, lifeless and bloodied, sprawled across the hallway. His wife, Cecilia, was found next, her body hidden behind a door, a victim of the same grisly fate. Victoria's children, the innocent faces of youth, were found in their beds, their eyes wide in fear, their tiny hands clutching their blankets. Victoria herself had been placed near her children, a scene so chillingly calculated it suggested a horrifying sense of control over the family's final moments. The smell of death hung in the air. What made the crime even more disturbing was the discovery of an eerie clue. The family's dog had been locked away in a shed, left to starve but not harm. Even more strange, the family had reported hearing noises from the attic for days leading up to the murders. Was someone hiding up there, watching them, waiting for the right moment to strike? The farm was isolated, so how could anyone have come and gone unnoticed? Detectives quickly arrived, baffled by the lack of clear evidence. The killer had left no traces, no fingerprints, no footprints, no sign of a struggle. But there was one strange detail that set this case apart from any other. The farm's old barn had been left open for days, though no one from the family had opened it. One by one, they combed the farm. They checked every corner, every room, but the house seemed to have swallowed the answers whole. A presence lingered. Someone had been watching, someone who knew the family, someone who had lived there before. The attic was searched, and there, hiding among the shadows and dust, was a faint imprint of a person who had been there far too long. As days passed and the investigation dragged on, the case seemed to grow colder. But a breakthrough came when the police uncovered something disturbing. The farmhand, a young man by the name of Lorenz Schlittenbauer, was questioned. He had been a friend of the Gruber family and had an odd connection to Victoria, her child's father, though he denied any involvement. Then came the twist. Schlittenbauer revealed that years before he had helped Andreas Gruber on the farm, but he also revealed that the Gruber family had been plagued with rumors of dark family secrets. Victoria had once confessed that her father had abused her, which had torn the family apart. But the real shock came when Lawrence admitted to a hidden affair with Victoria. He claimed he had loved her, and the child she bore was his. Could this have been a motive for the murders? Was the killer someone close to the family? Someone with a personal vendetta? After much deliberation and investigation, a new theory emerged. The killer had been a shadow in their lives for months, possibly years. With his identity still a mystery, there was no closure, only unanswered questions. The haunting, eerie feeling that lingered around the Hinterkaifeck farm remained, like a curse that had been passed down from one generation to the next. Had the killer been among them all along? Someone who knew every nook and cranny of the farmhouse? Or was it someone more sinister? A stranger driven by a twisted obsession? As time passed, the Hinterkaifeck murders faded from the headlines, but they never left the minds of the townspeople. They would forever be haunted by the chilling silence of that farm, the Farmhouse of Death. Like and subscribe for more.